All right. Hey, class. If you got to number 18, I think it actually was 17 for your homework, but I've added a couple problems since then. And you got the answer being A, but you're still a little confused as to how that's the answer. Now is your chance to get some extra understanding. So if we look at my hint that I gave over here at the bottom, we can see that to calculate the mean, right? We want to figure out the mean here of our distribution, knowing that 10% of our salmon are longer than 30 inches. All right. We have to do a couple things in order to get there. All right. We're dealing with the normal distribution. So that gave us our hint that we are going to be looking at the table where we have that curve. And we are, in this scenario, knowing that 10% of our salmon, meaning the top 10%, because it's the ones that are longer, that would be like this little corner here, right? That 10% is above 30 inches. Okay, so that's what we know. We also know that our standard deviation is 3.5. They gave us that. We know that. Okay. To do this, you have to work backwards. So we don't know the z-score. We do know the percentage. So the fact that it's longer means that I have to kind of think about those problems where we had percentage above, and the last step that you did was subtract by 1. So that's the first step in this scenario. So I'm going to take that 10% and subtract that from 1. So that's 0.90. Now, if it was less than, if it said the salmon are lower than 30 inches, I wouldn't have to change anything here. This step would not be necessary, but it is because we are longer than. So that's the first step. So now I have to figure out the z-score that goes with 0.90. And how do I do that? Well, I have to go to the z table. And because we have a percentage, we're working backwards, like in reverse. I'm looking inside the table, not the outside. So the percentages are inside. So let's find 0.90, or one that is closest to 0.90. If I look in this table, the biggest one is 0.4644. That's over there at that little corner there, right? What am I looking at? I'm looking at the percentages in here. I'm not at 0.90 on this page. That's the biggest percentage we have on this page. So I have to go further down. So we go further down. All right, now we've got some bigger percentages because we're on the positive side of the mean for our z-scores. So let's look in here and see if we can find something that's close to 0.90. All right, the closest one to 0.90. So look at this. This is 0.9032 right here. Not quite there, right? And 0.88 is right above it. So let's kind of go back. So we've got 0.9015 here. That's a little closer. And 0.8997. All right, so which one is the closest to 0.90? Well, that's a thousandth away, that 0.01, and this one is a 10,000th away, 3/10,000ths away. So this one I think is closer. If you picked either one of these, you're going to be fine with your answer choice. So if you're like worried about picking which one to pick, just take your one that you think is the closest. So what z-score goes with 0.8997? All right, or the closest thing to that. Well, it starts at the 0.12. If I follow the line, it's right here. Okay, 1.2, and then I have to scroll up here to see what the second decimal place is, and that's an 8. Okay, so 0.128 is my z-score. If I picked 129, you're still going to be fine. Okay, So let's do that. Z equals 1.28. All right, and now I can go over to this and start to do my calculations. So what do I know? I know the z-score is 1.28. We have the x, that is 30. Okay, we don't know what the mean is yet because that's what we're solving for. All right, if I can get this to right, it's 30 minus the mean. I use the symbol all over the standard deviation, which we said was 3.5. Okay, and then from there I can do my calculations. And what do you start with? You start with multiplying by 3.5. If you've got this algebra, you can probably do this on your own. You don't need to have me go through it, but if you'd like to see it, we're going to do that now. 3.5 on both sides to undo the fraction, right? All right, do that calculation. What's 3.5 times 1.28? 4.48. And that's equal to 30 minus the mean. Okay. And then if I were to get the mean by itself, we have to subtract 30 on both sides, right? So we subtract 30 on both sides. All right, and that means that we have a mean of negative 25.52. Which equals a negative mean. And if I look at my answer choices, right, negative, negative, those are going to get kind of canceled out, right? So the answer is closest to 26. And there you have it.